Jimmy was asked this post game.
Jimmy, I would imagine that you don't feel like an 8 seed. You and the Heat. That you don't. This doesn't feel like you're climbing mountains and knocking off favorites and all those kinds of things.
That's a question.
Well, it's a start of a question.
Oh, okay. Well, what's the question?
Just the question is, how does this feel to you guys? What you have done so far, and if you go back all the way to that night against Chicago in the play-in, did you think then that something like this would be possible?
Damn right, I did. Damn right, we did. And the best part about it is we still don't care what none of y'all think. Honestly speaking, we don't care if you pick us to win. We never have. We never will. We know the group of guys we have in his locker room. We know that Coach Spo puts so much confidence and belief in each and every one of us. Coach Pat as well. And so our circle's small, but this circle got so much love for one another. We pump constant confidence into everybody. We go out there and we hoop. We play basketball the right way, knowing that we always got a chance.
Jimmy's got supreme belief in his squad, and rightfully so. They're in the East Finals, surprisingly. But Jay, was last night's win more about how the Heat played or the lack of adjustments, aggressiveness, spacing from the Celtics?
The Celtics thought this was going to be sweet. They thought it was going to be sweet. It's the Heat. It's the Heat. It's Jimmy Butler. It's ERIK Spoelstra. You cannot come out in the third quarter. And I thought it started even before the third quarter. Like right away, first quarter, they let Bam get to the basket a few times. They let Jimmy just walk into wide open jumpers. I don't know why Robert Williams was standing so far back in switches and not even trying to disrupt the rhythm at all. It started early, and then third quarter, they come out like you know what? We're up 12 already. It's 71-59. This game's over. You know why it's not over? Because it's Jimmy Butler, because it's Miami Heat, because it's ERIK Spoelstra. 2 minutes, 24 seconds later, it was tied. And then shortly after that, the game was not over because the Celtics still had a chance late and squandered that. But they thought it was going to be sweet. They thought it was going to be easy. And, man, you cannot underestimate this Heat team because they will take it from you if you do.
Yeah, and I thought this game was just a perfect combination of what we always expect from Jimmy Butler, still in game one at your crib. We've seen it, series after series this year. He did it again in Boston, and we've seen the roller coaster with that Celtics team. Is like they look amazing, and then they look like everybody's just standing around watching Tatum go one-on-one. And when you play against a team like Miami, it just don't work. You can't do that. And then you give up 46 points in the third quarter. I mean, I love Heat culture as much as the next man, but we shouldn't be looking at the Heat to drop 46 points in one quarter in your crib against any team that has hopes of winning a championship. It was just an awful, second half for the Celtics. Just so much going wrong. They're throwing the ball all over the place, taking bad shots. Jason Tatum takes 0 shots in the fourth quarter. Marcus Smart went from double-digit assists in the first half to what I think 1 assist in the second half. It's just all bad. It's just, man, the Celtics team was just so confusing because when they look good, they look so good. And then when things go bad, they just fall completely apart. And the thing we know about this Miami team, they're just steady. They're just going to keep coming at you. They're going to make their adjustments. They're going to find a way to get Jimmy going. And they're fearless, man. And they showed if you just show just 1 ounce of slippage, you give them a crease, they're going to bust through that door. And now you're staring at a 1-0 deficit if you're the Celtics. And man, over the last 2 seasons, Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, they're now 10-10 in home games in the playoffs. I mean, if you're going to be a real championship contender, you're 500 at home in playoff games. And again, when wild. Boston looks good, they look amazing. We've seen Jason Tatum drop 50 in a game 7. We know Jaylen Brown is an all NBA caliber player. But it's just, man, I just head scratching just the way they blow these games at home in playoff situations.
The last play of the third quarter was unforgivable, utterly unforgivable. It looked like Al Horford and Malcolm Brogdon just had some sort of miscommunication where Brogdon thought he was supposed to be guarding Cody Zeller. Why would you switch that? Why would you guard Cody Zeller there? And then Kyle Lowry's driving the paint, and instead of recovering to Max Strus, who was a really good shooter, Brogdon goes to take away Cody Zeller at the 3-point arc. Why?
respect Cody
What
Zeller.
are you doing? Know the game plan, know the personnel. Even if you had not even come up with a game plan, even if they had not scouted those guys for a second, do not close out to Cody Zeller. He doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Go to Max Strus instead. Like,
You
that's
see
it. You just have to know. And
if you
and
see
they
a
did
ball
it.
dude with a face mask, you don't close out to him. I don't care if you've never seen Cody Zeller play.
100% of the time. 100% of the time.
He hadn't made a three since April of 2021. And Malcolm Brogdon went to him instead of Max Strus. Like, what are you doing? Why? So
Jay, did the Celtics need to do this to themselves, though, to get themselves pumped up? Do they need to be behind? Is this how this is supposed to go?
I think sometimes when they get into a new series, and Tatum talked about it after, like, this year about game 1 of the Milwaukee series last year, it's just a huge adjustment to go from Philadelphia, which slows it down all the time, which wants to have stagnant isolations, which, quite frankly, like, faded in the fourth quarter a lot, to the Heat, which aren't going to fade, absolutely aren't going to fade. They're going to keep coming at you no matter what. And, like, they force you to guard a lot. Even when they go to Jimmy Butler in isolation, it's like he's coming off 2 different screens to get the isolation. And then they've got, screens going on the weak side, and they just make you guard a lot more than Philly did. And Philly was really tough to guard in different ways, but I think the adjustment from series to series was just a really pretty drastic one here, and the Celtics didn't do a good job of it. Even in the first half, like, they shot really well. They scored 40 points in the paint, but it was more that they were just getting layups and they were actually playing, like, tough, good basketball. So
I feel like I just gotta show some love to Jimmy Butler too. I mean, just another spectacular game from him, both ends. He was just locking Tatum up in the second half. Had the crazy 3-pointer that bounced like 10 feet in the air and dropped in to ice the game. I mean, that dude, it just has ice in his veins. He's just
the 2
fearless.
steals late.
The 2
jumping
ended up
into
with
the passing
6
lanes.
steals for the game. I mean, he was just unbelievable in this game. And we joke about Heat culture and all of these random dudes who step up for them. But that all is based on their belief in Jimmy Butler and his ability to step into these hostile environments and do what he did last night. And that dude is just spectacular, man. The way he's able to impact the game on both ends of the court, his decision making, and when it comes to shot making, it's just always there. I mean, just an incredible player.